Good afternoon. Hey, what's up, Stefan? You were on it today, man. How you doing? Hello, Syntax Queen. Hello, Network Bib. How are you guys doing? My mouse feels kind of... almost feels like there's a lag. That's going to bother me. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, Stefan. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you saying hi. Yeah, dude. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Voldy. How goes it? All right, I'm gonna run. Let's see, npm run. Actually, hold on, not npm. I'm not writing. I'm not writing JavaScript. I'm writing C#. The worlds start to blur for me. Let's see. So we say .NET test. I'm actually going to split this terminal. Let's see. When I think it's Alt-Shift-. There we go. All right. Something through an error. Hello, Discord events test. Oh, it should not be null. There we go. .NET test source. Syntax Queen, are you using Vim? I am indeed using Vim. Like the stream, or you like pineapple on pizza? Pineapple on pizza, man. There's probably a good group of people that like pineapple on their pizza. Voldy, I was working on my HR Discord bot. Oh, nice, dude. Well, that's what I'm doing. Pablo bot project is back. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been kind of working on during the streams recently. Network Bib, how far are you with your bot? I'm not far at all. I'm still in the process of like, I wrote a bunch of exploratory code. Let me see if I can find it here. I wrote a bunch of exploratory code, and so now I'm in the process of moving that code to like a proper repo, proper project. Yeah, so I wrote like a bunch of I wrote a bunch of exploratory code here, and so I've been migrating that to the new project, and I've been writing tests. So that's where I'm at. I'm not very far along in it at all. Tulu, sup? Hello, Tulu. How are you? Now, what does your bot do, and what are your goals? My bot is the idea for my bot is very simple at the moment. It's literally just going to, when someone joins my server, I'm just gonna have it post a custom like welcome message, and then if I want to add stuff from there, I'll add stuff from there. That's Voldy's bot sounds actually much cooler than mine. Yahweh Suze, what are you building? I'm trying to build a Discord bot. That's what I'm trying to build. Pablo, not using TypeScript plus Discord JS. How is pain going? It's not. I mean, I shouldn't say it's painful, but I should say there is a lot of code. The majority of the code I write for this project will purely be to do this, basically, right? So basically, handling the state of the connection. That is the majority of code that will exist in this project to begin with. And that's where I'm at the moment in terms of implementation. It's just managing the state of the diagram that you see on the screen. But I knew it was going to be work, and that's why I did it, was because I was like, I want to do something that will require me to manually implement this. See you later, Network Bib. Oh, I guess I need to write a short little test to make sure that, let's see. Let's go into here. A web socket test.cs. Oh. Yeah, Voldy, I'd love to check it out once you get done with it. It sounds like a really interesting project. Pretam, why using NVim in Windows? Because NeoVim is awesome, and so is development on Windows, man. Get with the program. Pretam, just use Linux. That's better capability. You're new here, Pratam, and it shows. You're new here. What's up, Butterscotch? How are you? Pablo, dude is using PowerShell and C#, and you want him to use Linux. I mean, I could use Linux. I mean, .NET is cross-platform everywhere. PowerShell is now cross-platform. So I could definitely set up my setup on a Linux machine, but I'm happy with my Windows development environment. I think it's funny that, like, for whatever reason, the NeoVim community, or at least the Linux and the Mac community, feels like they lay claim to people using NeoVim. Hello, Richard. How are you? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Dogman? How are you doing? Pablo, also streaming. I would not want to figure out drivers in Linux. I mean, that's a Pablo. That you've been here when I've explained this. That's a huge driver between not having a Linux dev setup. Is just I don't want to manage two computers. And I do a lot of productivity and content creation related things. That's just easier, I feel like, on Windows. I need less friction in my life, not more. I mean, I'm sure there's people who use Linux that will say that's just a skill issue on my part, and maybe it is, but at this point in time, I'm just not interested in a Linux daily driver. Voldy, it's going to be the messiest mess of code ever. I don't code that well, but it's fine. If it works, don't change it. Yeah, I mean, I think, Voldy, I think you need to don't be so judgmental about what you've written. You know what I mean? I used to have this issue back in my days as a strength coach and a personal trainer. I used to spend way too much time overthinking programs that I would write for people. I used to write them thinking that, like, my biggest mentors and the people I looked up to the most in that world, I thought they would, like, walk in off the street and see my program and be like, what is this shit? How could you ever write a program like this for somebody? And what I eventually learned was you can't hold yourself to that standard. You can't let the paralysis analysis keep you from doing things, right? Like, if you, like, for example, Voldy, if you always walk around thinking like, I don't know, what would Uncle Bob think about this code I just wrote? It's likely you're never going to write much code. So, like, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, you know? I'm sure it'll be perfectly good enough, and that's what matters. Done is better than perfect. Richard Pearson, yeah, good, thanks. Dropping in to see what you're building. I am working on trying to build a Discord bot, but it's completely implemented bare bones in .NET without any existing kind of client libraries. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing at the moment. Dogman, good. What about you? Yeah, man. All's well here. No complaints. No complaints at all. Alright, so I've got I need to add test coverage for this guy. And then test coverage for the converter. Let's see, so we're gonna say, what was that? Heartbeat Discord event. Well, oh, that's because I don't have any tests here. I do have a file, but I have no tests in it. Alright, let's look at Heartbeat Discord event. So I basically just need to make sure that this opcode is properly set, the sequence is proper. I basically just need to make sure this constructor works. So let's go back to this. We'll say fact public void constructor. Let's see, when called, it should initialize properties. Let's see, heartbeat should be null, as well as data should be null. I'm actually going to turn this into a theory string sequence theory null data. Should be a nullable int. Pablo, I was convinced to learn Vim motions today through a video I will share it on Discord. Yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, I'm convinced. Yeah, I would love to watch it, but I'm totally convinced. Azina, the real question is, do you have LSP debugger and linter configured on Windows? Most of the packages are made for Linux. Oh yeah, for sure I do, man. I've got all the good stuffs. LSPs, I've got debuggers, I've got linters, I've got test runners. Here, let me show you. So I can look up what tests I have in this project, and I can run any of them that I would like. So let's run all my async lock tests. We'll just run this one. Let's see, market, and then we can say TSR. And this will run my mark test in the tree. So I've got like a test explorer functionality like what you'd come to know in VS Code. I can also, let's do, let's do a debugger. So you want to see the debugger happening. Let's go to the Discord event. Oh no, heartbeat Discord event. Let's set a breakpoint right here. So that toggled a breakpoint for me. All right. And then let's go to the test that I just wrote. And now we can say TD, which instead of running it, will actually debug my test. So you'll see in a minute, we'll get my debugger to fire up, which is great. Then it will step, it'll hit my breakpoints. I can see all my locals here. Obviously my window's kind of squished because I'm vertical here, but yeah, I've got all the good stuff, man. I've got all the good stuff. And honestly, Azina, if I couldn't do all that, I wouldn't have switched to NeoVim. Because there's no way that I would write code without having a proper debugger or a proper test explorer or being able to debug my tests. That's one of my favorite ways to troubleshoot stuff, is to write a test and debug the test. So yeah, man, we got it all happening over here. All right. See you, Dogman. Oh yeah, Pablo already called that out. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I haven't had any really issues with compatibility. The only compatibility issues I've had setting up NeoVim on Windows has been path separators. That's been the biggest pain in the butt. Because there's just some NeoVim plugins that are written with the assumption that you're on a machine that uses forward slashes as path separators. And so I had the one plugin I had to patch was NeoTest Playwright. I had to patch that to make it work with my Windows setup. But other than that, it's been pretty straightforward. And if you guys are curious, if anybody's like, hey, maybe I'm a Windows user and this guy might have me thinking I want to try NeoVim, there's my NeoVim configs, if you're curious. Voldy, apparently the Discord wrapper in Python is weird. Instead of giving the user ID as a string, it gives it as an integer, so I have to wrap it in. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I think you should always represent, like if you're building a client library for an API, I always feel like your client library's data types should match the data types in that API's documentation, right? So in that case, if the ID from Discord is represented as a string, that's how I think the client SDK should do it. So that is odd, but luckily that's not a big deal breaker, right? All right. Let's see. So I think the last thing I need to do is I have to write a bunch of tests. Not a bunch of tests. I just need to write a test for my converter here. Just make sure it deserializes and serializes things correctly. I know writing test code is not very exciting, but I do like me a good suite of tests. Oh, actually, this isn't going to be a unit test. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do this like an integration test. Discord event converter. Okay, so what we're going to have here is we're basically going to have a private read-only, not Discord event converter. We're going to have a private read-only JSON serializer options. And then I'm just going to new that up. And in here, I'm going to add my Discord. This is basically the same options I'll use in my program. And then everywhere I need to serialize, I'll use this. Actually, I'll create some helpers. I'll actually create private string, and we'll call this serialize. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll have another one. We'll call this private. Yeah, deserialize. Makes it a little simpler to write our tests here. Discord event, what, serializer? No, converter. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that it can deserialize. Oh no, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, given an opcode, given an integer value that doesn't match anything in my switch statement, I just want to make sure it deserializes to a Discord event. So converter serialize when, or no, let's just deserialize. Deserialize when called with unknown opcode, it should return a Discord event. xdevnon, hey bro, maybe off topic, but are you currently getting money from YT or you work on the side? I have a W2 job. You can actually see if you go to my channel description, there's a LinkedIn link that'll take you to my LinkedIn profile. Oh, actually, you can actually get it right here in chat. Here you go. LinkedIn. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. But yeah, I have a day job, and I just stream for fun on the side. I'm a 32-year-old dad of two, so I got a day job. That's how I take care of the family, and then I make content just for my own enjoyment. Oh, Butterscotch already answered that question, didn't he? Voldy, I'm probably going to become Jeff from HR after coding this bot. I mean, I think it's interesting, Voldy. It's an interesting project because I really do think something like that could really help. Could really be beneficial, but at the same time, I don't know of a lot of people who are using Discord in a business environment, you know, and that's just like an n=1 sample size. There might be businesses that use Discord for operational stuff. I'm just not aware of it. Hello, Suhas. How are you? Abu, hello. Good to see you, Abu. It's been a minute. I took the weekend off, so I didn't see most of you guys. Danielle Grassman. Hello, Danielle. Hope you're doing well. Suhas, obviously good to see you. Shahzan, building what? I'm building a Discord bot, is what I'm trying to build. But I should just be completely honest with you guys. Like, the bot functionality I've yet to code any of the bot functionality. I'm just implementing this connection logic. I'm in the process of implementing this at the moment, and I got to a place where, well, I can demo it for you actually. I've gotten to a place where I have a working example, like a working connection, but there's a bunch of edge cases that you have to deal with. Like Discord can tell you to disconnect, and you have to disconnect, and then you have to attempt to resume, depending on what disconnect code Discord sends you. You can either resume or you can reconnect. They're two different things. And so there's a bunch of edge cases that I need to program or write logic for, but there's no way for me to force Discord to send me a disconnect, right? So there's no way to really test this stuff unless I have an actual test harness, an actual test project. So that's why I moved from writing just very exploratory code to I actually moved this into like a proper solution with a test project, because there's not really a good way for me to implement the logic and be able to test it unless I set that up. But I do have a working example I can show you. So if I do .NET run, hopefully this doesn't blow up on me, but what you should see is we connected to the Discord gateway. We started a heartbeat, which is a thing you have to do to basically constantly ping Discord on some interval. Then you have to identify your app. You basically send an event that says, I am this bot, I am this application, and then Discord sends you back a ready event. So at this point, I'm connected and I'm ready to respond to events. The problem is that there's not implementation to handle if Discord closes the connection, or if I lose the connection for some reason. I need to implement logic to be able to resume, which resume is basically like you're starting your existing session again, so that way you can receive any messages that you may have missed while you were disconnected. And then reconnecting is like starting a whole brand new session again. So I've made a lot of progress, but I wrote most of that code just to try to understand the problem and understand how to work with the gateway API, basically. So I've basically done all of this, right? And so now I need to handle the disconnects, and I need to handle resuming. But obviously I can't force Discord's production gateway to disconnect for me, right? I just have to wait, which is that's not realistic to do. So I'm basically porting all my exploratory code over into a proper project now. Zay, what kind of developer are you? I am working as an AI ML engineer. So I primarily would consider myself a web developer, but I work as a quality engineer. So that's my day job, is I do manual and automated testing. But for my own work, my own projects, my own content, I'm primarily just work in a web development setting. Abu, good to see you too. How everything is going? Yeah, everything's going good, man. Yeah, life's good. I just pounded like my 5th shot of espresso for the day, and I'm on lunch, and I'm here with you guys talking and writing code. So life's good, man. I live a blessed life, you know. My family's healthy. I'm healthy. Got hot running water, food in the pantry. What else is there to complain about? Shazan, great to hear. Yeah, of course. Voldy, 24-hour F1 marathon for 75 years of the sport. Time to watch this with wifey. All right, Voldy, have fun, man. That sounds like a blast. Nothing like hanging out with your wife. It's a good time. So it will work like once we connect again, then it will show notification for the missed messages. Yeah, so they have a process. If let me see if I can go back here to the this code will make this code, it's further along, so I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit better. So if I go to my Discord client here, basically at the point that you receive this ready event, which is this piece. Let me make this a little bigger. Well, I guess that doesn't make the image necessarily bigger, but at the point that you receive this ready event, Discord sends you a resume gateway URL and a session ID. And so if Discord or the connection is closed, and the op code that you're given, or the closure code that you're given is not a 1000, I think, or a 1001, I think are the two, then you can attempt to resume using that gateway URL, that resume gateway URL. And so then, yeah, you can pick up any messages that you missed while you were disconnected. Now, there are circumstances where you can't do that. So if they send you a close code that is, if they send you a close code that is 100, or 101, I think, then you can't resume. But any of these, you should be able to resume after. But it's a whole thing. So yeah, so this piece of logic or managing this state is the majority of the work. And if you're familiar with something like Discord.js, right? So if that's what I think probably the primary the bulk number of people who are the majority of people who are writing Discord bots, I'm betting, are using this library. And these libraries, they take care of all that connection logic for you, right? So for example, this is using the gateway API, right? So that client, the internals of that client manage all of that state for you, and so that's what I'm trying to implement myself in C#. And you might say, well, why would you do that? And I would say, because it sounded like fun, and it seems like a really fun, a good way to challenge myself. I've only worked with SignalR in C# when dealing with WebSockets. So this has been fun to learn about the raw WebSocket client in C#. It's been good. Oh, Voldy, okay, sorry. You get to hang around, okay. No worries, dude. I thought you meant like I'm going to watch the marathon now. Zay, dang, QA is a fun one. What kind of web development are you doing? I've touched React and a few other Python-based frameworks, but always preferred algorithms. So if I'm doing web dev, the backend is probably going to be... It depends on what I'm doing. Say, like, if I want to stand something up really quick or prototype something really quick, I might just do Blazor, which is a .NET framework for writing front ends. If I am building something that has a little bit more longevity or complexity in mind, then typically the back end will be a minimal API in .NET, and then the front end will be, these days it's usually Vue. It's usually just a Vue SPA. I for a long time I wrote React, and then I started to write Vue like a year and a half ago or so, and I've really kind of fallen in love with using Vue. But I like React. That's not anything to say I don't like React, but I can write front ends in React, Vanilla.js, Vue. I've not written any Angular before. Haven't written anything in Svelte, but I've heard good things about Svelte. Pablo, are you doing the API integration yourself just for fun? Yeah, just for fun, Pablo. Exactly, yeah. Just for fun. Butterscotch, why not Next? If you just want to prototype stuff, lot of functionalities out of the box. Next is fine. Next would be fine too. Blazor is just what I've been reaching for recently. Just cause, you know. But Next would be fine too. I think my biggest thing with Next is, in my opinion, Next is not a proper backend. Like, I think Next is much more of a, like, what I would say is like a backend for front end. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with using Next to build applications, but I don't think you're going to build your whole backend using just the functionality that Next provides with its functions, or its API routes, in my opinion. Although there are probably organizations and large solutions that prove me wrong there. The reason why I stopped using Next was primarily just because I got really tired of dealing with the mental load of, like, is this JavaScript running on the server or is it running on the client? And then all the pain in the ass you kind of have to deal with when you decide, oh, never mind, I don't want this to be rendered on the server anymore. I want this to be rendered on the client. And then you might have to do some refactoring. And so, like a year ago, I was like, you know what? I'm sure Next is great, but for a lot of the stuff I build, a client-side SPA is more than enough. You know, like give me the data from some REST JSON backend, and I'll just paint it on the screen. So yeah, that's why. Let's see, what you making? Well, I'm supposed to be writing code. I'm supposed to be trying to make a Discord bot is what I'm supposed to be trying to do. But I've been talking more than anything at this point. Pablo, also, why not X is always the wrong question. Yeah, why not X? I mean, it's valid, right? But a lot of the times I don't have a good reason. It's just an experience I had, or a particular like groove I get in, you know, where I feel productive with something, and so I keep doing it. And when it's for my own projects, right, it's like, you know, that's all that really matters, is if I feel productive in it and enjoy it. Butterscotch for prototyping. Next is good options. Yeah, man, I would never shoot you down there. Yeah. Also, I want credit for my productivity. There we go. 63 lines changed, not 19. Pablo, it is not valid at all. It ignores your choice and the reasoning that went into choosing a solution that works for you. You're right. 100%. You're 100% right, Pablo. And that's where I always, like, I never want people to take away that, like, I don't like Next, or I don't like this technology, or XYZ, because in my opinion, almost everything I've tried from a framework standpoint, I can see the value. I see why it exists. Like, a lot of people in the front end community, they talk shit on Blazor, but I see why Blazor exists. Like, C# devs are very productive in their language, and they can get a lot done. And for a lot of line of business applications that are just basically CRUD things, you know, you can get things working really quickly, really fast with Blazor if you're a really good .NET dev. So it's not really like I'm ever taking aim or shots at any piece of technology, you know. The only piece of technology, I guess, that I have not come to warm up to is Python. I can write Python, and I don't actually have anything against Python. It hasn't given me the warm and fuzzies yet. Maybe one of these days I'll have that eureka moment. Let's see. Yes, let's do that. Oh yeah, and let's actually make this Discord. That way we don't need all this. There you go. Deserialize event. Deserialize Discord event. Oh, goodness. Oh, shoot. Okay, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I do want this to be object. All right. Is it gonna pass? No. Why did it break? Jason, then you must be a senior dev. I don't know if I'd call myself a senior dev. My title is senior quality manager. No, I mean senior quality engineer. This looks like some sort of Stack Overflow or something. Suhas. Python a day keeps the Stephen Freeborn away. Yeah. I mean, I need to get over that though. Like I said, if I want to have any, if I want to have any, I guess, longevity or knowledge or know-how in the AI ML world, I need to get comfortable with Python, or more comfortable with it. Yeah, Pablo's the man when it comes to expressing ideas eloquently. Jason, Python is a great language, yes, it has its flaws. I'm an amateur dev working to Django, started off with Python, did some classes on C, HTML, Java, and Nest, around with some Rust and Ruby. Well, man, Jason, that seems like you've been all over the place, man. That's awesome. Lots of good experience there. Butterscotch, if you're gonna shit on Python, then AI will take your job for sure. Yeah, you gotta make sure that all your written documentation, whenever the AI gets a hold of it, you want to make sure it reflects good, right? Not poorly on your thoughts of AI. You don't want the AI to turn on you. You can just go, you can just go, I don't know. I don't think I know what you're saying, Suhas. I think I missed that one. Butterscotch, use WB to jump between words. Using HL is slow. Yeah. Yes, it is slow. And my Vimfoo is bad. The Python devs laugh at TS too much, in my opinion. They are in danger. Yeah, I do wish it would grow. I wish, and it does seem like that's the case, right? That like a lot of common libraries and tools that are used in ML and AI, it seems like there are becoming like TypeScript or JavaScript equivalents of those things, which is kind of cool to see. Suhas for AI, Go or Golang. Yeah, I mean, I know there. I mean, there's implementations of PyTorch for .NET and C Sharp. You know, so I think regardless of whatever language you work in, right? Like, you can find a solution for the thing you want to do these days. A Z? What are you making? I'm trying to work on a Discord bot, but I'm very early on in the process. And I'm also talking way too much to be productive at the moment. But that's the end goal, is to get to a state where I have a little Discord bot that I can do fun things with in my own Discord server, which you guys are more than welcome to join. I'll put that in the chat. But the idea is to get to a point where I basically have a Discord gateway client, and I can tell that client to listen to particular events and do things with those events. Yeah, agree with you, Pablo. Yeah, and I guess when I say doing AI/ML things and getting comfortable with Python, I more mean like the lower level, you know, building models, training models, that sort of thing, I guess is what I mean by like, you kind of have to get somewhat comfortable with Python. Butterscotch, yeah, but under the hood, they all mostly use C. Well, and that's what I'd always heard in the Python ecosystem, is like, for a lot of like NumPy and PyTorch and maybe Matplotlib, maybe less Matplotlib, but a lot of those data libraries that people use in like data science and stuff, that a lot of that is just calling into C. But the Python code makes it much easier for people who aren't necessarily like real low level language engineers or developers to still make use of those APIs, but with less concern about doing things that are unsafe or bad. Nelson Ross, I can't click on the Discord link. Oh, that's interesting. Well, if you go to my channel, my main channel page, you should be able to find that same link. So I'm not sure why it's not clickable. Maybe that's like a YouTube keep you safe type of thing. No clickable links in chat. Yeah, PyTorch is C under the hood. Yeah, so that's what I had heard. You know, obviously I take what I've heard with a grain of salt, but I guess I'm gonna see if I'm actually even hitting this. I don't think I am. Butterscotch link works. Oh, okay, good. Well, maybe for some people it's a different experience. Okay, so I am hitting that. I am hitting that breakpoint. don't know what the heck this exception is saying. It definitely looks like some sort of recursive issue. Okay, what if I just remove the converter really quick? And I do this. Also, I've got about 4 more minutes, and then I have to go back to the work. Okay, that worked when I removed the converter. Huh. That's weird. Well, I've got a little bit of debugging to do here. I don't know why my converter is causing my test to blow up. I wonder if it's because of this. I wonder if I should just be passing the root. Let's see, FB. Try this again. No. Weird. Well. I know I've done this before. I know I've written other tests with a converter like this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong at the moment. Let's see. Let's see how I've done this in other lives. Pictures. Units. Yeah, this is the same way I've done it previously. But there's something I'm missing. Something I'm not doing right. Jason, you have brought a great attention to me as an amateur dev. I will definitely keep up with you. You have had great insight to my new career path and also made great arguments on things that do matter. Well, hey, Jason, that's nice to hear, man. That's a very nice chat message you left there. Pablo, data science is a very complex subject, and so is ML. Yeah, like that. And I think that's why Python is the language that that particular discipline has chosen, is because Python allows them to express those very complex topics in a succinct way and lets them focus more on the ML and the data science, right? The statistics, the math and the statistics, rather than as much on the engineering. All right, y'all. Well, my Slack status at work just went back to not on lunch, so I'm gonna hop off here. If you're new here, though, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I usually try to go live once in the morning most weekdays and once in the afternoon around this time. So if you see me live, drop in. Obviously, if you want to catch up outside of YouTube, you can join our Discord. And then if you don't hang out in the streams, I try to post short videos and some longer form videos every so often. So if I don't see you in a stream, maybe I'll see you in the comments of one of those. And I hope you guys have a good day. If it's Monday for you, have a great Monday. If it's Tuesday for you, have a great Tuesday. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye, Noku. Bye, Jason. Bye, Butterscotch. Pablo, see you later. Nelson, see you guys. Suhas, have a good day. All right, bye, y'all.